nothing till I gave it a spark. And now you wanna try and kick me out of the park. Well, I ain't going quiet, I'm saying it loud. My mission is to stop you and completely shut you down.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
When there's nothing left but the fire in my chest and the air that fills my lungs, I'll hold my tears and trade my years for a glimpse at kingdom come. On the other side of misery, there's a world we long to see. The strife we share will take us there to relief in sovereignty. Oh, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our own. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our own. Now our names are spat and cursed. The headline smack of another attack, not the last and not the worst. Oh, my fathers, they look down on me. I wonder what they feel to see their noble sons driven down beneath a coward's heel. Oh, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home. Dark, the way has lost my eyes, they strain to see. I struggle forth to find a friend to light the way for me. Oh, brothers, can you hear my voice, or am I all alone? If there's no fire to guide my way, then I will start my own. Oh, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home. Oh, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home.
This is JasonElliott.com broadcasting to you from the Truth is Viral
live concert series.
Yes, that's nice to have you. Thank you very much for having us, folks. Here's a country song.
Well, man, come on. This is black news. Somebody's been shot. Somebody's been abused. Somebody blew up a building. Somebody stole a car. Somebody got away. They didn't get too far. They didn't get too far.
Grandpappy told my pappy back in my day, son, said a man's gonna answer for the wicked he done. Find all the rope in Texas, a tall oak tree, round up all them bad boys, hang them high in the street. For all the people to see. That justice is the one thing you should always find. Got to settle up your boys, you better draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune. And we'll all meet back at the local saloon. Raise up our glasses against evil forces, singing whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Got too many gangsters doing dirty deeds.
Too much corruption, too much crime in the streets.
Not the long arm of the law, put a few more in the ground. You send them all to their maker, you'll settle them down. You can bet he'll settle down. Cause justice is the one thing you should always find. Gotta saddle up your boys, you better draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune. And we'll all meet back at the local saloon. We'll raise up our glasses against evil forces, singing whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Whiskey for my men. How about some Jaeger for the singers?
We don't have Jaeger in the cooler.
Oh, there's no Jaeger out there, darn it. I said justice is the one thing you should always find. Gotta saddle up your boys, you best draw a hard line. When the gun smoke settles, we'll sing a victory tune. And we'll all meet back at the local saloon. We'll raise up our glasses against evil forces, singing whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Whiskey for my men and beer for my horses.
Let the sun beat down upon my face. Stars will fill my dreams. I am a traveler of both time and space. Be where I have been. Who still without us of a gentle race. This world has seldom seen. With darker days for which they sit and wait. And all will be revealed. Darker tones from tones of legend grace. Sounds caress my ear. No matter where I heard good or late, the story was quite clear.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral Live. My name is Bob Powell, and for those who are unaware, I am the toughest, meanest, most mission-dedicated, gasoline-drinking, napalm-pissing jarhead that the world has ever seen. Yeah, I had a massive heart attack 3 days ago. 3 stents in one artery. The worst of 3 heart attacks since January 6, 2021. But I'm still kicking ass and taking names. And you want to know why? The devil's tried to kill me 7 times in the last 2 years, but he's failed each time. And he's failed because he hits like a bitch. How about that?
Hello, viewers on YouTube. How you doing? What show are we on?
Truth is viral.
The truth is viral, people. So take 2 penicillins and call me in the morning.
Places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep the frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell, and yes, I am still alive by the grace of God and a wonderful cardiologist. She had my follow-up appointment with her today, and well, I'll tell you what, she's my kind of people. We got to talking about my cigar smoking, and she says, "Go ahead, it's okay. I don't want you to hate life." I love this woman. She's great. Okay, so tonight, I'm going to take down 3 traitors. Not just one. A lot of you are tuning in to see what I was going to say about Peter T. Santilli, my best friend who I recently found out is a federal operative. Notice I didn't say informant. He is an informant, but it goes much deeper than that. And I have the receipts. But he's not nearly as important as these first 2 people that I'm going to talk about tonight. And, well, why don't we just get right to it? I'm not, normally I would save the best part for last, but I'm just going to go ahead and drop the nuke right away, okay? Here we go. Oh, well, you guys need to share this and make sure that you subscribe to my Substack, because tomorrow this channel might be gone. And don't forget about Rumble. That's where I'm at. Okay, so this little bit of drama started on January 6th of 2021, the day of the insurrection, which I've come to call the Fedsurrection. And that's because I've got proof of it. So I've been dealing with all kinds of grief from mainstream media, from politicians. Nobody wants this story out. They either don't believe it, or 'cause it is incredible, it truly is, or they are on the wrong side. So I'll give you the quick and dirty so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. On January 6th, just about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I went up the Capitol steps following a crowd, and as soon as I got up there, I recorded a young man by the name of Hunter Imke from Glendora, California, breaking a door or a window in a Senate office. You're watching that video now. Capitol Hill police arrested Imke, which they absolutely should have, and then they let him go. They took his driver's license and told him to get out of there, which is exactly what they did. Then they stood around for about 10, 15 minutes in front of that window, making sure that nobody else was going to go in, because the crowd was saying, we're going to go in there. You just heard it when they were arresting Emke. We're going to go in there. You can't stop us from going in there.
It's only a matter of time and we're all going through there. We're going in.
That's what they said. So they're standing there in front of the window, and a radio transmission comes over their air, and the person on the other end asks, how many officers do you have deployed? And this fellow on the very right, wearing the blue mask, told them 8. They had 8 officers deployed to protect that window. I went up to that officer and I told him, there are 9 defenders here. I told him, I am a United States Marine. Nobody is going into the Capitol through a broken window on my watch. If you need help, I'm there for you, brother. Imagine my surprise when I hear another radio transmission. This one ordering them to displace from that window, leaving it completely undefended. That's what caused me to turn my camera on. I would have had it rolling the whole time, but I'd lost a camera earlier on the second flight of stairs going up the east side of the Capitol, and it was later picked up by a Capitol Hill police officer. That's a whole other story we'll get into later. But this important part right here is that these officers were ordered to leave that broken window undefended. So I'm standing there picking up glass for souvenirs. Now this, I didn't know what was going on, but I wanted some something to take home as a souvenir. So I was picking up glass, and this fella that had come up the steps with me, dressed all in black, with a military radio, wearing a balaclava over his face. He's asking me, why don't you guys open up the rest of the window and go inside? So I replied, well, that'd probably be illegal.
Why don't you guys open up the rest? Because I think that'd probably be illegal. Well, I know my glasses. I got my... I'm just picking up garbage.
So I go back to picking up the glass, putting it in my pocket, and then I hear the loud crunching from behind me. And I swing my camera around just in time to catch this man pulling that broken window entirely from its frame. He steps aside to let people go into the Capitol through that Senate office building. A young man by the, well, I'm not going to say his name because he asked me not to, but I have, his name's Gavin, I'm not going to say his last name. But he rushed in towards the window. I thought he was going to go inside, so I moved to intercept.
Do not go in there!
Okay, so mystery man in black, I'm going to call him undercover number 1. Now he sees my camera. And the fact that I'm wearing a press helmet, he realizes that his actions are being recorded. So he does a complete 180. Instead of allowing people to go inside the window, facilitating their entry by pulling the window from its frame, undercover number 1 starts fighting with Gavin. And he's gaslighting him, saying, why are you breaking that window? Gavin was 15 feet away when this guy was pulling the window out, but he didn't know how long I'd been recording. So basically he's covering his own ass, right? And, you know, as soon as he gets done fighting with Gavin, this guy melts off into the crowd, never to be seen again. A few minutes later, I'm over at the east entrance doors where a crowd is trying to go inside, and I'm taking video. And I'm standing just outside the doors when I feel hands on my back. And a man in my left ear yelling, "Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line." He's pushing me towards the Capitol doors.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
Just before I get inside, being forced inside, mind you, Capitol Hill police unleash a barrage of pepper spray. Moves the whole crowd back, forces me out. I'm blind now. I can't see a doggone thing. But I turn around and my camera catches this guy holding the door open with a baton and, you know, pushing people inside. Ford Fisher, another independent journalist who he's the editor-in-chief of News to Share, received some footage by a videographer by the name of Paul Mulholland, who caught this guy from the other angle. I want you to check that out.
Oh, sorry. How many people we still got on the lawn? Everybody on the lawn, please.
Okay, that footage is much more clear. You can get a really good look at this guy's profile, right? My favorite part of Mulholland's footage is when undercover number 2, the guy in the brown, wearing a brown balaclava with the military radio, he gets hit in the face with a pepper ball. And that's the end of him. I hope it hurt. I really do. Scumbag. So, ever since I got that footage, I've been receiving tremendous pushback from everybody. Nobody wants to know anything about it, right? Well, I'm a United States Marine. I have the tenacity of a devil dog with a stake. And I'm doing everything that I can, working 16, 18 hours a day, emailing everybody that I can think of. Everybody in media, politicians, sending them private messages on Facebook. I'm getting zero joy, right? No responses whatsoever. Like I said, they either didn't believe it, because it really is incredible, or they want to keep it suppressed. Well, I found a way around their censorship. I've been attaching read receipts to my emails last 6 months. None of them are getting through. But I found a way around it. And I was able to get on One American News with Dan Ball. And in October, 1st of October, I was on Greg Kelly's show on Newsmax. The day after Greg Kelly's show, where I presented this footage in front of millions of people, PayPal suspended my account. And that's another theme that's been going on. February 2nd, Google and YouTube demonetized me. Twitter deleted my account 5 minutes after I sent footage to the Capitol Hill police asking who these guys were. So, I also on the 15th, I informed the FBI of what I had recorded. I sent them 29 minutes of high-definition footage. As of today, February 11th, 2022, more than 13 months later, neither of these men have been arrested. They don't appear in any of the 720-plus indictments. I've checked all of them. There's no video of these guys on the FBI website. There's no video of them on the FBI's YouTube channel. There are no pictures of them on the FBI's website or on Facebook where they're asking people, who are these people that were at the Capitol on January 6th? So, and my repeated phone calls and emails to the FBI have gone unanswered. That is unprecedented. I graduated from journalism school in 1986. I have sent thousands of letters back in the day, emails, made hundreds of phone calls to government agencies of all sizes, from local, county, state, federal. It doesn't make any difference. They are always returned. Always. It's a law. Okay? But as of today, February 11th, 2022, I have yet to receive any kind of love from the FBI at all. Not a phone call, not a reply to any of my emails, nothing. They don't want to hear about it. I even offered to come in and give them a statement and all of the video that I shot on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. The only caveat was I wanted to bring my lawyer with me. They didn't respond to that offer either. They've arrested or talked to everybody that was within a mile of the Capitol on January 6th, except for me. And Gavin, the guy that was fighting with the undercover agent. He hasn't been contacted by the FBI either. Kind of strange, no? I mean, he was right there in the thick of it. We both were. You'd think they would at least want to talk to us. And it's not like I've been avoiding them. Like I said, I've sent them at least 3 emails offering to come in and give them a statement. Okay, so I tell them, I'll be happy to come in and let you have anything you want. You want video? I got it. You want pictures? I got them. You want my statement? Be happy to give it to you. Again, nothing. Absolute silence from the FBI.
Now, I'm standing here today telling you God's truth, speaking in the name of and with the authority of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I am telling you the truth. It was the FBI and not Trump supporters who led the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th.
So here we get to November 20th, 2021. And another friend of mine, Kerry Bentivolio, former United States Congressman from the state of Michigan, tells me he wants to talk to me. So let's go over this conversation with Kerry Bentivolio from my Facebook Messenger. I had contacted Kerry and I asked him, do you have any direct contact information for the Trump team? Anyone at all? Kerry replies, no. I'm shut out by the Michon. He's referring to Michon Maddock. Rabid never Trumper, who blocked me on Facebook a long time ago because I had asked her if she could help me get to the Trump team. Show them my video. She absolutely refused. And then she blocked me. So I told Kerry I'm half tempted to go to Mar-a-Lago and wait till he goes golfing, speaking of President Trump, and fly a drone with a thumb drive attached right to him. I told him I'm getting frustrated, Kerry. So many powerful people I know have the video, yet it's not being talked about by anyone. I asked him any idea what gives. He says yes. I wish we could have met up. I reply, we both still live in Michigan, right? There's a network that wants me to do an in-studio interview sometime in the near future. Their studio is near Toledo, which is a long drive from Alpena. I wouldn't mind dropping back by on my way and shoot the breeze. He gives me a thumbs up and he says, Bay City's halfway. I said, yep. I have a question that you might be able to help me with, considering the people that you know. I've been told that my life is in danger. Is it, to the best of your knowledge? Kerry replies, no. And then I ask, am I being protected? To which he says, we should meet. I told him, I think so. A lot of weird stuff going on up here. Might not wait until the interview. Are you busy tomorrow? I can be in Bay City for a late lunch. Kerry says, yes, I dropped the grandkids off to church at 10 a.m. I told him I'll text you when I'm on my way. Have a good night, brother. He gives me a thumbs up and then tells me where to meet him. Meaty's Roadhouse, Barbecue and Sausage Shack in Bay City. And you guys know how I love my meat. I love that nasty pig, right? So I asked him, is noon good? And he says, yeah. I said, I'll see you there. He apparently carries in the mood for ribs, too. And by the way, they've got great ribs, okay, if you want to go in there and get some ribs. On the 21st at 10:10 in the morning, he says he's leaving with one stop. Takes him an hour and a half to get there. I told him I'm leaving with no stops. I'll be there at 12:30. He says it's an out-of-the-way place in a residential area. Go back through the store. And I asked him, Brandon Hall wants to write a story about my video and experiences since January 6th. Do you think he'll do right by it? Brandon Hall is the editor-in-chief of West Michigan Politics. Said he wants to put my story on his site with additional commentary from me in response to whatever questions he might have. Nothing to do with you at all. So Kerry gives me a thumbs up, and I said to you, I just wondered if you knew him. Is he a straight shooter? Kerry says yes. Give him a thumbs up. Then he says something that is so ironic, considering the circumstances. Never trust anyone in politics. They shift like the wind. Talk about prescient. Foreshadowing, foretelling. Never trust anyone in politics. So I meet Kerry at the Rib Shack in Bay City. And after our initial pleasantries, we sit down, order our lunch and whatnot. Kerry asks me, Bobby, what would it take to get you to stop talking about your January 6th video? I said, well, why would I do that? And he tells me because Ron Weiser wants you to. You know who he is, right? And I said, well, yeah, he's the chairman of the Michigan GOP. Why would he want me to stop talking about this? Kerry says, how about $100,000? I kind of laugh a little bit. Are you serious? No. He says, Congressman Bentivolio says, how about $200,000? Okay, now I'm starting to get the idea that he's serious. And I say, look, Kerry, you go back and you tell Ron Weiser that he does not have enough money to buy my honor or my silence. You tell Ron Weiser that if he wants me to stop talking about my video, he's going to have to kill me. And Kerry Bentivolio, former congressman from the state of Michigan, told me that could be arranged. Now, I don't know whether that was a threat or a warning. I can't read the man's mind. What I can tell you is exactly what he said. And I just did. So I'm kind of freaked out a little bit right about now. And I say, well, this is, pretty wild, Kerry. I said, are you serious? He says, yeah, do you really think my life's in danger? And then Kerry backpedals a little bit. He says, nah, you're not that important. So I'm important enough to offer $200,000 to shut my mouth, but not important enough to kill over? Six weeks later, back up just a second, I had to sell my house because without the revenue stream from ad revenue and donations that were coming in through PayPal, I couldn't afford it anymore. So I sold my house. It was supposed to close end of December. I couldn't get it closed fast enough. I really did want to get out of Michigan. I don't have a death wish. But I bought a truck and a fifth wheel with the proceeds from my house. And as soon as I could, I beat feet down to Florida. First thing that I did on December 8th, I took a video or a thumb drive with my video on it, along with a written narrative of everything that's happened to me since January 6th of last year to Governor DeSantis' office. I got all dressed up and everything. My first new suit in like 30 years. Got to look good if you're going to hang with the hoi oligoi, right? The rich folks, the fancy folks. Can't go in there wearing Walmart shorts and t-shirts, right? They need to take me seriously because this is serious. Hand to God, I am telling you the honest truth. I am not lying. Everything that you're going to hear on this show tonight is 100% true. God strike me dead if it's not. So I give this information to Governor DeSantis and his aides anyway. And as of today, February 11th, 2022, I have not been contacted by him. So I don't know what's up with that. All I know is that to the best of my knowledge, I'm on my own. 6 weeks after Kerry delivered this warning or threat or whatever it was on behalf of Ron Weiser, the chairman of the Michigan GOP, I'm giving a speech at a rally in front of the Pinellas County Jail for Jeremy Brown. I'm showing them my footage that shows 2 undercover agents physically attacking the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. While I'm speaking, sheriff's deputies arrest a man by the name of Garrett James Smith, 22, from a neighboring town.
So what is all this about suspicious devices? Cops are saying that there are suspicious devices here.
Let me find some of these suspicious devices.
And we get to go over to conservative grounds. I don't know if we're okay with it, but let's make a rendezvous point over to conservative grounds.
What's the matter? There's a suspicious
We'll
device.
continue the rest of this at conservative grounds.
Sorry. So, what is exactly going on?
There is a device in the area.
Oh, really?
A suspicious device.
And who reported this?
A supervisor.
Explosives and homemade grenades stuffed with nails, all found in the backpack and home of the 22-year-old man named Garrett Smith, arrested near this January 6th protest outside the Pinellas County Courthouse last night. This is Nightside. I'm Carolina Lee. The protest was in support of a man arrested and accused of participating in the insurrection. But as 10 Tampa Bay's Miguel Octavio explains, detectives are still trying to figure out Smith's motive.
Yeah, it could have been very destructive, and he could have hurt a lot of people.
It was his 22nd birthday, and investigators say Garrett James Smith spent it carrying a backpack with an explosive device near this crowd of protesters outside the Pinellas County Courthouse. They don't know why.
Smith has no criminal history, no social media accounts that we can find, and there's no prior intelligence information about Smith.
And deputies say Smith isn't talking. Dressed in all black, Smith was across the street from the crowd. Deputies don't know why Smith held back.
We're fortunate in this situation that something caused Smith to flee before he ignited the explosive device, and the deputies were able to apprehend him.
Detectives say a search of Smith's home turned up 4 devices that looked like grenades. Each was packed with nails. Deputies also found a note titled Direct Action Checklist. It was a list of equipment like a gas mask, duct tape, and handcuffs. No one was injured, but Sheriff Gualtieri said Smith is the kind of person that worries law enforcement. He had no history of problems, made no threats on social media, and seemed to come from nowhere.
There's no opportunity to intervene and thwart their criminal activity until they actually act.
Deputies say Smith also spent time in Portland. Officers say he had a helmet with symbols from a group that staged protests there. Pinellas detectives are still trying to determine if Smith had any connections to that group and what his motive was. He is not cooperating with investigators. Smith is being held in jail on $300,000 bond.
He's a member of Antifa. Sheriff Bob Gualtieri says that he had been to Portland for terrorist training to become what the sheriff called a sleeper cell. This kid lost his nerve at the last second and did not throw the nail-studded, wire-wrapped pipe bomb that he had brought to murder me and maim or kill 100 other people. He's sitting in the Pinellas County Jail at this minute with a $300,000 bond. That's kind of unnerving to know that at any minute somebody might try to take my life because of what I recorded on January 6th. 6 weeks between a death threat from the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party and an actual assassination attempt is too much of a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. That boy was sent there to kill me. He's a throwaway asset, what the government calls a kite. Somebody that they can use and then sever ties with. Just like you're cutting a kite string. Whoosh, it's gone. So that's where we are with Congressman Kerry Bentivolio and Ron Weiser, the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, and a heavy-duty fundraiser, too. This man has got deep pockets, access to a lot of money. And now I'm in Florida, in my fifth wheel, moving around every couple of days, So anybody that might be after me is going to have a pretty hard time trying to find me. Do you have any idea how many mobile homes and fifth wheels there are down here? Especially in the wintertime. Everybody wants to be in Florida. It's hell trying to find a spot in a campground. So I'm boondocking it quite a lot. I learned that term recently, boondocking. That's where you just go to somebody's house and set your trailer in their lawn for a night or two. Or go to Walmart for a night and sleep there. So that's all I got to say right now about Congressman Bentivolio and Chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, Ron Weiser, because that's all I know. In just a minute, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take care of a special piece of business, a real special shitbird. My best friend, Peter Thomas Santilli, a man that I know now to be an FBI operative, not just an informant. He's got a job to do, and he's being well paid by the FBI to do it. I'll be right back.
I'm Pete Santilli, and you're watching The Truth is Viral.
Do not click away. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born free. Born free.
Now, I'm standing here today telling you God's truth, speaking in the name of and with the authority of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I am telling you the truth. It was the FBI and not Trump supporters who led the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th.
Like an untamed stallion, if you can see my heart, you must be blind. You can knock me down and watch me bleed, but you can't keep no chains on me. I was born free. I was born free. I
200 years, our Corps has done two things for this great nation. We make Marines, and we win battles. Hoorah! Never forget that. You're first Marines, and not all the communists in hell can overrun you. Now I live free, and I mean to inflict the grief, and the least of me is still out of your reach. The killing machine's gonna do the deed until the river runs dry and the last breath leaves. Head in the air with a head held high, I'll stand in the path of the enemy line. Feel no fear, know my pride. For God and country, I'll end your life. I am a devil dog, I'm marching on. I am a warrior, and this is my song. Hell has no demon, I won't overcome. Never forget that. I am a warrior, and this is my song. I'll make the devil himself turn and run. I am a warrior, and this is my song. Into the fire I will keep marching on. Hoorah! Marine Corps, get some! Take me to the brig so I can see the real Marines.
All right, there we go. Got to turn the
Added to
microphone
it
on.
more than a blurb. It was told everything of how to track people. On
Got
TikTok.
something else
Using
going
the
on.
metadata.
You got to shut up, dude. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, now to a special shitbird, Mr. Peter Thomas Santilli. I'll tell you, he's a shitbird. He used to be my best friend for 10 years. I thought he was my brother in arms. The bond between Marines is a special thing. It's hard to break. It takes a real piece of shit to break that bond. Let me tell you a story. My fiance asked me, what do Marines do when their brothers betray them or do something bad? Back during the Iraq War, there was a Marine from my old unit, the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, threw a puppy off a cliff. If you've been watching the news for a while, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Soon as he got back to the base at Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Station, his brothers threw him a blanket party. They beat the frickin' shit out of him right before his dishonorable discharge. That's how you deal with a maggot shitbird like Pete Santilli. I'm going to beat the shit out of him tonight, and I'm going to do it with the Club of Truth. Before I get to that, I want to remind you all, go down in the video description below and contact all of the media outlets that are listed there. You will find a Dropbox link that contains all of the relevant footage from January 6th that I shot. I don't want any money for this. I want these people to see this video and pay damn attention to it. So you do that for me, won't you please? All right. Now, don't forget, you need to subscribe to my Substack. It's bobbypowell.substack.com. Google has pretty much killed my bobpowell.blogspot.com. And not a whole lot I can do about that. You can find me over at Rumble too. Bobby Powell, TTIV at rumble.com. I'm over at Getter, Bobby Powell, TTIV. And if you got any money burning a hole in your pocket, and dig deep for it, I need it. I've lost everything with this fight. I'm living in a damn fifth wheel. I'm right now boondocking at somebody's house that was kind enough to let me park it in their yard. And they let me come in and so I could have a decent Wi-Fi signal so that I could broadcast this show to you tonight. So, why don't we get right to the business at hand? Pete Santilli is a federal operative. He's not just a snitch. He's a Judas goat. The federal government is using his popularity to lure people into deadly situations where they get imprisoned, or like Robert LaVoy Finicum, murdered. How do I know that Pete Santilli is a federal agent? Well, let's see here. Oh, that's not right. I'm going to show you something here just as soon as I can pull it up. Yeah, okay. Here we go. This was, I had to put this together real quick. He ran his cock holster, excuse my language, for about 4 hours the other night, lying about me in all different kinds of ways. There was only one thing that he said that was halfway honest. And I'm going to get in front of it right now. Because people bigger and badasser than Peter Thomas Santilli could ever hope to be are going to try to use it to discredit me. Here it is. I did not finish my tour in the Marine Corps. I was honorably discharged after spending a year in the fleet. Why was I discharged? Here comes a story that I've never told anyone. It's kind of embarrassing. But I'm going to let you have it right now. When I was 7 years old, my Uncle Bobby, my namesake, Robert Luther, the Chancellor of the University of Illinois, gave me an IQ test. And I measured out at 143. That's pretty good genius level. And this is something that you don't tell people, right? You don't brag on your intelligence because people, I'm telling you, there's some intelligent people that are dumb as shit. Well, he encouraged my parents to send me to a really good school, so they did. I went to a private Christian school in Indianapolis called Heritage Christian. I got a superb education there. And when my parents retired and moved us to Florida, I was floundering because I was bored as hell. I was so far ahead of everybody else, I didn't know what to do. I was getting in trouble. I was going to keg parties, smoking pot, having all kinds of teenage fun, right? Well, I came to the decision, my parents helped with this, that I should just get out of high school. So I earned my high school diploma by testing out at the age of 14. I spent a year taking criminal justice at Palm Beach Community College. And I still felt out of place. Because everybody was so much older than I was. We're talking about cops. Adult cops coming back to get their continuing education. I was a 15-year-old in a room full of 20 and 30-year-old cops. I was just out of place. My brother was a Marine. And I thought that he looked really slick in his uniform, boy. And he did. Those Marine Corps uniforms, boy, they'll make the women swoon. They really do. So I wanted to have some of that. Now, I had a baptism certificate that had my date of birth wrong, made me a year older than I was. So my mother had to go, at the time you had to have your parents' permission to enlist in the Marine Corps if you're under 18 years of age. So she went along with this because, like I said, I was getting in trouble. And she thought that the Marine Corps would straighten me out. Boy, I'm here to tell you, it sure did. So I signed my contract when I was 15. 2 weeks after my 16th birthday, I set my foot on the yellow footprints at Parris Island. I went to advanced infantry training at Camp Geiger and was assigned the MOS 0341 Mortarman. We draw straws to see what duty station we're going to. I could have gone to 29 Palms in the desert in California or Kaneohe Bay Marine Corps Air Station in Hawaii. We literally drew straws, and I drew Hawaii. Talk about luck. Best duty station in the world. So I spent a year in Hawaii as a mortarman, 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, Weapons Company, 81 millimeter mortar platoon. I spent a year throwing hate downrange as a 16-year-old child. Let's put child in quotes because I'm here to tell you, after Marine Corps boot camp, ain't no such thing as a child. I don't care how old you are. Well, eventually the Marine Corps found out that I was a minor, that I was only 16 years old. I hadn't really done anything wrong to be given a discharge other than honorable. So that's what they did. They gave me an honorable discharge. So there is my big secret. If somebody wants to hate me or look down on me, knock yourself out. I don't care. I earned my Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. I may have been 16 when I did it, but I earned it. The Marine Corps taught me values that I hold to this day: God, honor, and country. They are a part of my soul. And I have lived my life trying to live up to those values. And the values that I learned at Heritage Christian School. I have not always been a model Christian. I'm still not. Don't look to me as an example of a great Christian, because I'm not. But I do try every day. I try to love everybody. But sometimes, like Christ says, you just got to shake the dust off your feet and move on. So I'm going to shake the dust off of my feet right now. And that dust is named Peter T. Santilli. Now, after January 6th, Pete started showing me things. Not like say, hey, Bobby, look at this. But his actions, the things that he did that were really weird. Now, I'm going to get into the details of this tomorrow night. I didn't have enough time today to get this live stream prepared with everything that I want to say. But I'm going to hit the highlights, and I'm going to prove that Peter Thomas Santilli is a federal operative, not just a snitch. They put him in there to cause havoc, to lure patriots to their deaths, and gather information on those that they don't kill. I'd like you to look at this right here. This is Peter Thomas Santilli's arrest record from the Clerk of Courts, Hamilton County, Ohio. He was arrested on his way to the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge for having a loaded gun in his car. Now, Pete's a felon. He's not supposed to have a gun at all, much less a loaded one in his car. He was arrested on 12/18/2015. On the 19th, he was bonded out on his own recognizance. And on December 23rd, the charge was ignored. Let's see if I can get this right. Yep, there we go. Pete's arrest records have been sealed. Judge Sheet sealed these records because the documents may contain sensitive information. Judge Sheet sealed those records and allowed Peter Thomas Santilli to continue on his way due to federal intervention. They wanted him at Malheur National Wildlife Refuge to draw people in, just like he did at the Bundy Ranch in 2014. They wanted to see who would answer his call to action. And we found out. Now, the difference between the Bundy Ranch siege in 2014 and Malheur is like night and day to me. At the Bundy Ranch, the initial siege in 2014, the Bundys were under attack by the Bureau of Land Management at the order of Harry Reid. Harry Reid owned property. Oh, by the way, he's burning in hell right now. Thank you, Jesus. He's a special kind of scumbag. But Harry Reid owned property right next door to the Bundys. And he and his son had a deal with a Chinese energy company called ENE. They wanted to put a solar farm there. But they couldn't do it because the Bureau of Land Management requires an easement, basically, between the solar farm and the desert where there's some kind of endangered tourists lived. So in order for Harry Reid to build this solar farm, he had to get the Bundys out of there. So he sicked the Bureau of Land Management on them. The Bureau of Land Management surrounded the Bundy Ranch with snipers. They used heavy equipment to destroy the infrastructure of their ranch and shot their cattle. And after the trial was over with, Daniel P. Love, the Bureau of Land Management thug who was in charge of that operation, was fired. Stephen Myrie, the prosecutor, was demoted because he lied to the court about exculpatory evidence proving that there were snipers around the Bundy Ranch. So this is not a conspiracy theory. It's all a matter of court records. Moyer was different, though. The Bundys had no business going to Oregon on behalf to do anything with the Hammonds. The Hammonds didn't want them there. The Hammonds told them to go home. But the Bundys still thought it would be a great idea to take over the bird farm. And lay a little siege. Yeah, I understand wanting to help other people. I really do. I do it myself all the time, as much as I can. But the fact is that the Hammonds didn't want them there. So, the apples and oranges. Bundys didn't have any business going there. And Pete Santilli, his job was to get all the patriots that he could up to that Moyer National Wildlife Refuge, so the government could see who would show up, and then they would take them out. And that's exactly what happened. Now that's just the evidence that I uncovered on that one particular incident. 2 days ago, after Pete went on his 4-hour rant, he made the mistake of using his lying tongue to mention the name of Jeremy Hansen. Now, I know Jeremy Hansen. We worked together at Liberty One TV with Pete and Joe Biggs and a bunch of other folks. Now, Jeremy Hansen had a little response because he was not happy at all that Pete had mentioned his name. And if you'll give me just 1 second, I'm going to play this for you, and it's going to blow your mind. I'm literally doing the jobs of 4 different people at once here, folks. Please bear with me. Talent, line producer, all that noise. Okay, I think we're ready. Is the volume up? The volume is up. Let's play this episode of Unleashed with Jeremy Hansen.
Hello, and howdy. Unleashed Jeremy Hansen here. Hey, I didn't think that I would ever utter the word Pete Santilli in my life again. However, I've got to Santilli was outed by Vinny Eastwood. Yeah. You know, the thing with Pete, I have personally had to deal with Pete a lot in former businesses, former places. And I want to talk about it because, not because I really want to, but because my name was brought up again by Pete Santilli. He kind of, he's got a beef going on with his former best friend. I don't know anything about it. I don't. But I got brought into it. So just listen to this. This is Pete on Frank's speech. If you guys would like to hear, he was talking about Bobby Powell, and somehow Vinny Eastwood, which, you know, I've never talked to Vinny. I've got friends that have. And then he brought my name into it. So listen up.
Yeah. Okay. This guy is literally, I said, I'm going to send the men with the white coats for a wellness check after he did this. Here, you guys watch this. You haven't seen this, Ashley, have you?
No.
Watch this. Plug your
haven't
ears.
seen this.
Turn the volume down if you're offended by foul language. This comes from Bobby Powell.
I just wanted you to look into the face of a real Marine one last time, you fucking I swear to God, I'm going to burn you to the ground. Your whole show is over with. You fucking Judas goat treason fucking son of a bitch. You're done.
All right, so that's what Bobby had to say about him.
What is that? Ruin my show. What I mean,
That's what it's all about.
It's about ruining the show for Vinny Eastwood. It's about ruining the show by Jeremy Harrelson, the freaking toothless.
No, not Harrelson.
What's his name? Not Jeremy Harrelson. Did I say Jeremy Harrelson?
You did.
Jeremy Hansen.
Yes. Not Jeremy Harrelson.
Jeremy Hansen, who, by the way, is a business person behind the scenes. Okay. He literally single-handedly took down Range Broadcasting. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and you guys don't hear this stuff.
you don't hear it because it's not real.
You don't hear about this stuff, my business dealings, but Jeremy Hansen piling in, right? I had the same interaction. He's a Fed,
Right. Yeah,
he's part of that whole.
Oh, we hate to tell you so, but.
Yeah,
I hate to tell you so. So that's the part that mentioned me. So I just thought I'd come on here and I would tell everybody, hey, this is what's going on. I don't like Pete Santilli, okay? But I don't wish him any harm, okay? I just don't like the guy. He said a couple things there that I think that can harm me monetarily, where I took down, Range Broadcasting. Well, let's just start at the very beginning. This isn't going to be very long. Like I said, I never planned on ever uttering the words Pete Santilli in my life again, because once I label somebody as a scumbag, I don't deal with them anymore. And I haven't dealt with him. I saw Bobby's post and I said, Bobby, I had the same interaction with him as you did. This ain't the time or the place, and don't swing down. That's what I said. So I guess I injected myself a little bit, but it was nothing bad. Let me tell you for sure what I know. The Vinny Eastwood stuff, I've seen it. I've never talked to him. It looks bad, but can I tell you it's true? Absolutely not. Can I tell you for a fact that he is a FBI man or a Fed or no, I can't, but I'm going to tell you what came out of Pete Santilli's mouth himself on a phone conversation, and I'll get to it. The other stuff with his, wife, daughter, his girlfriend's, whatever, that it's none of my business. I'm just here to discuss Pete Santilli and what he said about me. Like I said, I don't care how Pete's show does. I don't care for Pete. It is what it is. Hallelujah. Good luck. Do what you do with your business. But what he's talking about is Pete Santilli years ago coming to Liberty One. Okay, Liberty One TV was a network owned by Terry Littlepage. I was part of the network. Jermaine Bozzio was part of the network. Joe Biggs was part of the network. Eric Thompson was part of the network. Jim Lockwood was part of the network. And the list goes on and on and on and on. However, Terry Littlepage wanted to bring in Pete Santilli. And Joe Biggs, our biggest show at the time, this is when I was first starting out. Joe Biggs said, hey, I don't want you to bring Pete Santilli on because I heard he was a Fed. So me, Jermaine Bozzio, Terry Littlepage, we're sitting there discussing this, and we didn't want to lose Joe. And Terry's like, well, let's just call Pete and, get it straight from the horse's mouth. He calls him. He introduces us all. He says, hey, some of the guys have some problems. And Joe Biggs, being Joe Biggs, got up or just said right away, Pete, I heard that you had something to do with Finicum's death. And Pete Santilli said, okay, hang on. I'm not a federal agent. I'm not a narc, but I made a call and told the FBI where they were because I was protecting children. I was protecting wherever they were going. I don't know. This is just my interaction that he's talking about now.
Okay, hold on just one second. Let me get this straight. Peter T. Santilli called the FBI and told them about the convoy that LaVoy Finicum and the Bundys were in when they were going to the neighboring county to see the sheriff. Pete admitted this on a conference call with no less than 5 different broadcasters. 5. Let's hear some more.
Wherever they were going to go, he was protecting children that were supposedly in some building on some reserve somewhere. He didn't want the children to get hurt, so he made a call and told them what route they were taking. That was the extent of the conversation. But he said, I'm not a federal agent. I'm not working with anybody. I was just trying to protect children. If you don't believe me and you think that I'm wrong, if you think I'm lying, call Jermaine Bazio. If you think that I'm lying and you don't believe Jermaine, call Joe Biggs. And if you don't believe this, call Terry Littlepage himself, which happened to be owner of Liberty One TV. So, was he a Fed? I don't know. But he admitted himself that he made a call to make sure that children were protected, and it may have ended up in them getting pulled over in the trappings, whatever. That's what I know for sure. I'm not going on what anybody else says. I'm just telling you what I was told. Then, right after that, Joe Biggs says, listen, I've got a paper right here, a fax from you to the FBI, and it's been circulated since then. It's been circulated all over the internet. I don't know if it's true because Pete keeps saying it's not, but on that day, Pete had a different story. On that day, Pete said, hey, after I did that, people misunderstood my intentions, and I started getting death threats. So the FBI was supposed to protect me because this fax said, hey, this is me, Pete. Why are you not protecting me like you said you would? Okay. This all came out in this conversation about Joe Biggs leaving the platform because he thought that Pete Santilli was a Fed. Pete came out and said, well, I wasn't a Fed, but I did do this. And that fax was just they were supposed to protect me because I was getting death threats from. So it is what it is. You guys come up and make up your own decision. That's not up to me. I thought it was peculiar. I thought it was weird. But one thing, it's bad for business because what it does is it splits people. And that's why I hate politics. Everybody today, and you guys have all seen this, they're kind of nitpicking each other. Just like I watched Pete say in this video. Well, all Bobby Powell cares about is getting donations. Whatever. I kind of find that funny, being for some reason I'm still on Pete Santilli's mailing list. And every once in a while, about once a month, I get an email from him. If you guys are on there, you guys know what I'm talking about. And he says, I'm shutting down the show. Unless I get support right now, I'm shutting down the show. Whatever. It's not just Pete that does that. It's that's part of this business. It's part of the crying loser scumbag business that this is. And I hate to say that. I've got some really good friends that do a good job. But there are a whole bunch of scam artists in this business, and they all take part of it. Why? Well, because they're all hungry. They need money. So it is what it is. So don't believe any of that. But that's what I know from Pete's mouth himself. The rest of it I'm not going to touch because that he said to me, okay? The rest of it, you guys go do your own research. Now, when he got to the point where he said, I single-handedly brought down the range broadcasting, it makes me laugh, and it kind of gives me some enjoyment simply because I never think I was that big. I must have been a really big show if I was able to bring down the range broadcasting. Let me tell you about the range broadcasting. Also, owned by Terry Littlepage, also had some pretty good shows on the range. We were doing things trying to create a model that would feed everybody. And we had something set, and Pete came in and changed Terry's mind, and that's fine. That's what businesses do. But the platform that they wanted to use was Guerrilla Media. And basically, they wanted to have a website with like 3,000 products, and they wanted us to turn into these promo guys, like late night type TV type. Hey, and there's more. That type. Well, I didn't want to do that. So I left the range. I didn't take anybody with me. I didn't badmouth the range. It was a ride. We did it. It didn't work, whatever. So I'm trying to figure out how I took down the range. As a matter of fact, Mr. Numbnuts said that I took down the range, but he was with the range for a year after and it failed. after I left, and then they started something new. And I've talked to Terry since then, and he just said, hey, Pete one day pulled all of his stuff off, sent me a nasty email, and I haven't heard from him since. I don't know how he's getting off, why he would say that, but that's just not the case. It's not truthful whatsoever. I told you my piece about what Pete said to me. That's complete honesty. I don't know exactly what the beef between Bobby Powell and Pete Santilli is, nor do I want to. And as far as Vinny Eastwood, and never talked to the guy. There's some pretty bad accusations out there, but I can't prove any of them, and I've never talked to Pete about them, so it is what it is. But I can tell you that he's threatened Jim Lockwood from talking about these things to sue him. He's threatened Jermaine Bozzio to shut up or he's going to sue him. And it kind of seems like a common theme that, if he gets in around somebody and they work and things don't work out, then it's, I'm going to sue you for this or sue you for that, whatever. If people want to come and sue me, come and try to come and sue me. It is what it is. You have to do something wrong or, maliciously try to throw somebody under the bus. But what I'm saying here is exactly what he told me. There is no, I read it on a paper, I heard it from this person, nothing. This is what he told me. And like I said, if you don't believe me, call Joe Biggs, Jermaine Bozzio, or Terry Littlepage. It is what it is, folks. Oh, man, it feels good to get that off my chest. It kind of bothered me. I don't do a lot of business deals with that type of stuff anymore. I don't think that networks necessarily work. And I for sure know that networks don't work in the political realm. I think that they do in other things, but in the political realm, they don't. And most people are sick and tired of politics. I won't take it away from Pete. Pete's brought out some good information. He has. Got to give credit where credit's due. He's brought out some bad information too. I just personally don't like the guy. Okay. I don't want to sit here and badmouth him. He actually puts on a pretty entertaining show. Whether you believe the stuff or you don't believe the stuff, that's up for you to decide. But I don't want bad to fall on Pete Santilli. I don't want good to fall on Pete Santilli. I just don't care about Pete Santilli. So I'm just going to say it. You know what? Shut your mouth. Okay. This is my piece. It is what it is. I'm not trying to ruin him. And he's probably scared. If I brought down the Range Broadcasting, I'd be scared of me too, if that's actually possible, if I was that strong. It is what it is. And I hope that my show is still at that strength. I mean, if it's true, but I'm not getting in the middle of Bobby and his stuff, but I have dealt with him in these types of ways. I know when it comes to money, Pete has a way of his own that's not like anybody else. I've been in the middle of a bunch of stuff with that I wasn't even directly involved with, and it sucks. Every time you deal with them, it sucks. So my advice to people is, unless you want to get into this type of thing, because it's not just Jermaine Bozzio, Jim Lockwood, Vinny Eastwood, Jeremy Hansen, Joe Biggs, the list goes on and on and on. As a matter of fact, there are grave sites, not literally, grave sites of former broadcasters littered behind Pete Santilli. Okay. So it is what it is. I love you guys. I hope you got some clarity. If you guys want to go tell Pete, great. Go tell Pete, whatever. And Pete, love you, brother.
I love that. Love you, brother. Okay. Angela S. has a very interesting question. She says, why did Jeanette Finicum come on Pete's show last week and say it was false? If there was any possibility of Pete being informant, she would not speak on his behalf. Well, hold on a second. Let me shut this off. This has got to go. This Blue Man Group. Bunch of weirdos. Okay. Angela, because number one, she didn't know what Jeremy just told us. Neither Jeanette Finicum nor John Ritzheimer or Mr. Engel or anybody else knew about this information. I didn't know about it until 2 days ago. All I knew was that Pete had been arrested on his way to Malheur Within 24 hours, he was freed on his own recognizance, and then his records were sealed. He was a felon in possession of a weapon. You don't get released on your own recognizance in 24 hours unless somebody with influence tells them to. And your records are not sealed by the judge in the case unless there is something to hide. Now, as I said earlier, I've been really busy today. I went to see my cardiologist. And she's my kind of people. She really is. I got a great report. My ejection fraction is 65%. They put 3 stents in my, what was that? The left anterior descending artery. That's the widowmaker. And, I'm lucky. I really am. I was only a mile from an ER when I started feeling the chest pains. And they took me in and put the 12 lead on me real quick. And they said, yep, you're having a heart attack. So this was like a corner ER, like a walk-in clinic, right? 2 o'clock in the morning. So they called an ambulance for the big hospital to take me there. And they didn't even bother taking me to the emergency room. They just rushed me right into the cath lab. The last thing I remember hearing was give him some first aid and put him out. And I woke up a new man. Praise the Lord, right? And within a week, I was up well enough that I could go jogging. Because my body does what I tell it to do, pretty much. When I have a goal in my mind, nothing can stand in my way. I've been fighting 16, 18 hours a day for over a year, 13 months, to prove that the Fedsurrection was basically a deep state operation against Donald Trump to ensure that he never again would occupy the Oval Office and to label each one of you as domestic terrorists. And they almost got away with it. But, people say all the time, to themselves, what is God's plan for my life? Everything that has happened to me in my life, I see it now in hindsight. Hindsight's 20/20. Our Father in heaven he gave me the skills, first of all, as a journalist. Then when I had my accident back in 94, fell off my roof and broke my back, that put me on the sidelines for a while. So I would not be corrupted by the mainstream media. I was this close from a network anchor position. I was working at KVOR in Colorado Springs. Had I become a network talking head, I would have been corrupted. I would have been bought. He kept me pure with the values and the determination of a United States Marine, an oath-keeping Marine. I swore an oath as a 16-year-old child to Almighty God to protect and defend this nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that oath has no expiration date. When I die and I stand before my Lord, I'm going to tell him that I did everything I could to serve him honorably. Pete's not going to be able to say that. Now, I'm going to go into all of his lies tomorrow night. I didn't have a chance to do this tonight in time for the 9 o'clock broadcast. I'm going to go into all of his lies. Everything he said, except for the fact that I didn't complete my tour, was a lie. And it's a provable lie. He said that he'd paid off $2,500 in credit card debts. Well, dumbass, I have the credit card statements that show that no payment was made. He said that I was threatening to kill federal agents. Well, he didn't show those text messages, did he? No, he didn't, because that's not what I said. I told him that I would kill anybody that came to my home with violence. You saw the emails that I've sent to the FBI earlier in the show. If you didn't, go back and look at them. I have offered to come in and give them a statement, all the video they want, all the pictures they want, anything that they want, 3 times. I've heard nothing back but crickets. Ron Weiser, the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, financier extraordinaire, deep pockets as hell, threatened to kill me if I didn't stop talking about my video. And then he sent some Antifa punk, a transgender, he is a transgender, he changed his name to Jordan Hanna the day that he came to murder me and possibly kill others at that rally in Clearwater. So I'm in fear of my life. If the FBI, well, not fear, I don't fear anything but Almighty God, but I don't have a particular death wish. I've got a mission to accomplish. And that mission is to expose these cocksuckers, excuse my language, that attacked our Capitol. The FBI hasn't put up any of the video that I sent them. Not a single picture of either of these two guys has appeared in any of the 720 indictments. I've been through them all. They haven't been uploaded to their YouTube page. They haven't been put on their Facebook page. And they're not on the government website. They're just simply not. Whoever these men are, the FBI is hiding them. And I know that they want to kill me because I'm trying to expose them. They could be knocking on my door, yelling FBI with blue lights flashing. I don't know. I'm not going to take that chance. So once again, I'm going to tell any federal agent that might be listening, if you want me to come in, I will, without a fuss. I'll give you all of my video. I'll give you all of the photographs that I've taken. I'll give you all of the text messages that I've ever sent. Anything you want. What legitimate, that's a legitimate offer. Who wouldn't accept that offer? But if somebody comes to my home, or my fifth wheel, trying to do violence, I'll probably die. But I guarantee you one thing, I'm going to die in a pile of hot brass surrounded by the bodies of my enemies. You can take that to the bank. So let's not talk about me threatening federal agents, because that's absolutely not the case. Now, I'm going to tell you a little something about Pete Santilli. Totally different from this other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you a text message that he sent me. In case it's too small for you to read, I'll read it for you. Pete says, I'm going to expose you for molesting your children. Do you have a comment? Your daughter was so traumatized that she committed suicide. Then you went on the internet and begged for sympathy and donations. When your wife attempted to reveal the truth, you poisoned her. Both your wife and daughter revealed this before they died. The truth will finally come out. Your 25 viewers deserve to know. I told Pete that if he said that in public, I would sue him for everything that he owns. And I'm going to win. And then the dumbass doubled down and said it on his broadcast. He tried to backpedal later, saying that, if you can make shit up, so can I. That's not the point. I've got screenshots of comments of people that were watching the video that believed him. That's a special piece of shit right there. That's why I sent him that video, to tell him that I was going to burn him to the ground. He's lucky that we've got 1,500 miles between us. If he had said that in my presence, I would have ripped off his head and shit down the bloody stump. You can believe that. Fortunately, there was that mileage between us. I've had a chance to cool down and think about how his statement, his slanderous, vile statement about my baby girl and my wife is going to finance the rest of my career. I know you're watching, Pete. To take a scene out of 300, I'm going to hurt you. It's not going to be over quickly, and you're not going to enjoy it. You stand by for a clusterfuck. I'm not the man to mess with. You know, the only thing worse than an enemy is a traitor. You not only betrayed my friendship, you betrayed LaVoy Finicum. You told the FBI where they were going to be. There are 5 witnesses on a conference call that will verify this. And none of the people that you brought on your show, not one, proved that you were not an FBI agent. All they said was they hadn't seen the evidence. Well, now they have. They've seen your arrest record for carrying a loaded weapon in a car when you're not allowed to have one at all. They've seen your sealed records. Sealed because they contain sensitive information. They've heard Jeremy Hansen recount how you told the FBI where LaVoy Finicum and the Bundys were and what route that they were taking, when they were going to leave. You're done. You might as well pack your bags, boy. And tomorrow night, I'm going to pick apart every lie that you said. I've had to watch that 4-hour broadcast twice now. Once, my fiance and I, we were watching it live the first time. And we were rolling. Because we knew that everything that you were saying was a lie. And then when you started talking about my wife and daughter, oh my God. Oh, dollar signs started rolling in. You're going to pay for every thumb drive that I buy and take around to congressmen. You're going to pay for every gallon of gas that I use to go from one office to another. You're going to pay for every campground that I park in. You're going to pay for my plane tickets to go from this place to that place so that I can get to people of influence that will pay attention to this video. And it's working. I now have 12 representatives and senators that I've personally handed this video to. Why they haven't said anything in public yet, I don't know. Maybe they're saving it for just the right time, you think? That's my most fervent prayer. Maybe they're saving it to drop a nuke on the January 6th Commission. Blow it right out of the water. I know that's what Brandon Strzok did. I gave him a thumb drive while we were eating God's chicken at a Chick-fil-A down in Tampa. He dropped it on the federal prosecutors at his sentencing hearing. That's why they had to delay it for a month while they evaluate the new evidence. That's why I gave it to Roger Stone's lawyer. When we had lunch on the beach in, what was that town? I don't know, Longboat Key, I think. Roger Stone knows about you now, Pete. Try and get him on your show again, see what happens. Ain't gonna happen. You're screwed. You're poisoned. You're done. You might as well just take whatever illegal weapon that you have, put it in your mouth and blow your head off, because that's all you're worth now. It's all over. And tomorrow night, every lie that you guys told, I have proof. And I'm going to put it together in such a fine little package. You're going to love it. So, as Jeremy Hansen said, love you, brother. You piece of shit bird. I'd like to thank everybody for watching The Truth is Viral Live. I'll see you again tomorrow night with one hell of a show. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. My name is Bob Powell, and as always, God bless. Semper Fi. Adu Ra. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.